Shujiputram Atra Surupam Rupam Tasakajauri Purim Mathurim Gushtavati Radha Kundaramagirivaram Ahoradika Madhvasam Prabhu Yasapatita Kripaya Sri Guru Gurave Gaurachandraya Radhikaya Pradale Krishnaya Krishna Bhaktaya Tad Bhaktaya Namo Namo Ananda Leelamaya Vigrahaya Hema Bhaktibhyascha Visundaraya Tasmai Mahaprema Rasapradaya Chaitanya Chandaya Namo Namaste Chaitanya Chandaya Namo Namaste Chaitanya Chandaya Namo Namaste Bhaktya Vihina Aparada Lakshe Jilpastika Marikaram Kamati Kripa Maitam Shanam Prapanna Prinde Namaste Charanaravindam Prinde Namaste Charanaravindam Govinda Damodara Madhaveti Govinda Damodara Madhaveti Govinda Damodara Madhaveti Govinda Damodara Madhaveti. Everyone. Hey Krishna, Hey Radhava, Hey Saketi, Govinda Damodara Madhaveti. Shama Sundar Sakanda Shikar Smarha Sumurli Manohara Radhikar Sakamama Kripanidhe. So Priya Charana King Kurim Kuru Tavaivasmi Tavaivasmi Rajivami Tayavana Tivikyaya Devi Tam Namam Charantikam. First of all, I have for my sustenance Dandavat Sarda Pushpanjali, my heart like flowers thousands and thousands of times at the lotus feet of my holy master, my supremely worshipable spiritual Gurudev, Asmadhya Paramarada Tamaguru Padapadma, Nitilila Pravishta Om Vishnuhar, Ashtol Tarasata Sri, Rupanugacharya Varya, Silabhakti Vedanta Narayan Goswami Maharaj. Secondly, I have for my pranam thousands of times at the lotus feet of my Param Gurudev, to Srila Prabhupada and to all of our Sri Rupanuga Gaudiya Guru Parampara. And finally, I offer my pranam to Srimati Shamrani Didi and all the assembled Vaishnavas and Vaishnavis, Vanchakalpatarus, Krupas and Upanapa Vaishnavas. Gaur Premanande! Susrusro Sradadhanasya Vasudeva Katharuchi Sanmayat Sevayavi Prapunyan Tirthan Shevanat. Sri Sutta Goswami Pad, in the beginning of Srimad Bhagavatam, he said, by serving pure devotees, a very great service is done. The pure Vaishnavas, they are the holy Tirthas. What is the necessity to visit the holy Dham? Only that if we are there, there's an opportunity, there will be a chance to meet with sadhus. And in their association, there may be a chance to serve those sadhus. And what is the fruit? What is the result? A great service is done by serving sadhus because it has a great result. And that great result is Vasudeva Kataruchi. That the living entity, he develops ruchi, taste in hearing about the supremely sweet, beautiful and loving, compassionate Brajendrananda and Shama Sundar. See, Krishna of Vrindavan. This is the greatest fortune for the living being. So much so that then Sutta Goswami Pad, he says, Taramasvanustita pungsa visvaksena katasvaya nutpadayidadiratim srama eva hi kevalam. If you do so many practices, even practices of bhakti, but we don't develop the Visaksena Katasuya Natpade Didi Ratin, some rati attachment to Harikatha, then everything that we have done was lost. It was a waste of time. Sram means labor for nothing. He, definitely. Kevalam, exclusively. Srama eva he. Eva, certainly. It was certainly, absolutely, and totally and completely a waste of time. So to develop a taste in Harikatha, this is the most important thing. And this is the fruit of our seva to Vaishnavas. If we can be blessed with this Harikatha, with taste in Harikatha. Why? Because when the devotee is absorbed in Harikatha, Nigamakal patro galitam palam shukamukadamrata dravasamyatam pipat bhagatam rasamalayam uraho rasika bhuvi bhavukaha. Srila Vyasadeva in his Mangalacharanam, he's saying that this Bhagavad Gita, Srimad Bhagavad Gita, it is the mature fruit on the desire tree of the Vedas. Many people, they try to follow the Vedas, they study the Vedas, and they try to take from the Vedas what they want. But this is not important. What do we want from the Vedas? The question is, what do the Vedas want to give to us? So the desire tree of the Vedas wants to give us the fruit. A very sweet, ripe, juicy fruit. And that is the Krishna Katha of Srimad Bhagavatam. And it's flowing down in parampara. It became more delicious because it was just as a mango is when it's pecked by a parrot, it becomes more sweet. So it became more sweet because it emanated from the lips of Shukadeva Goswami. And then this juice is coming down to us. That means that it is who has heard from Shukadeva Goswami, his heart is filled with rasa and it overflows in the form of his Harikatha, goes into the ear of the next Acharya and his heart overflows and it comes out from his mouth in the form of Harikatha. And in this way, the nectarian rasa of Goloka Vrindavan is descending. So Pibata Bhagavatam, taste this rasa. Rasamalayam. Alayam means until you are liberated, and even after liberation, one will go on tasting this. Otherwise, rasam alay means fainting. Hear this Harikatha until you're in such ecstasy that you faint. Muhu raho rasika. Muhu means again. That means, and when you wake up from fainting, listen again and faint again. And again and again. Muhu raho rasika bhuvi bhavakaha. Who should relish this? Bhuvi, on this earth, they're the bhavuk. Those who've attained bhav, they're relishing. And the rasika, they are the eternal associates. They're also coming here sometimes. So two categories are relishing. Those eternal associates who are coming here, and those in this world who by their association have come to the stage of bhav. So, bhuraho rasika bhuvi bhavukaha. All bhakti depends on Sadhu-Sanga. So Shukadeva Goswami Pad describing Sadhu-Sanga, Rupa Goswami Pad describing Sadhu-Sanga, he has said, Srimad Bhagavatanam asvado rasikai saha sajataya snigde Sadhu-Sanga swato bare. Sadhu-Sanga should be with bare. Bare means those who are significantly more advanced than ourselves. And sajataya those whose hearts are perfected and realized in the mood, the very mood for which we are aspiring. Same mood, sajatya. And snigdha. Snigdha means affectionate. Here affectionate especially means that if we have the opportunity to serve a pure Vaishnava and please them, then in their heart they make a sankalpa. They may not say openly, but in the heart they make a sankalpa. Oh, you will be my Kripapatra. You will be the Kripapatra, the recipient of my mercy. So that when we have pleased the pure Vaishnava and they've made that vow in their heart, you will be my Kripapatra, then this is called a snigdha, affectionate association. So Srila Gurudev, he is very expert at speaking the nectar of Srimad Bhagavatam, and especially he was the first person really who introduced the broader Vaishnava community to the nectar of Pancha-Gita, 5 Geets in Srimad Bhagavatam. One of Gurudev's very first books that came in English was Venu-Gita. And as you know, our Srimati Shamarani Didi, she was inspired by Srila Gurudev to manifest beautiful painting, giving some essence of that window into that Venu-Gita. So in Srimad Bhagavatam, there are 5 Geets. And these Geets are something quite extraordinary, astonishing, and very, very different from each other. Each of the 5 Geets of Srimad Bhagavatam has its own vaisistya, its own speciality, its own profound rasa, which is very different to the other Geets. So what are the 5 Geets of Bhagavatam? First, Venu-Gita, yes, chapter 21. Then Pranaya-Gita. Pranaya-Gita, chapter 29 of 10th canto. Then the next Gita is Gopi-Gita, yes. Then next Gita is Gopi-Gita, chapter 31. Yeah? Then the next Gita is Yugal-Gita. Yugal-Gita, chapter 35. And then the last Gita is Brahmar-Gita, chapter 47 of the 10th canto. So these 5 Geets, they're very wonderful, and each one has its own vaisistya, its own speciality. And also there is a evolution of Prem Rasa from one Gita to the next. And so it's important to begin. Srila Gurudev, he first instructed us in Venu-Gita, he gave Venu-Gita. And in Ras Panchajai he has given Pranaya-Gita and Gopi-Gita, and also a separate book on Gopi-Gita. Verses of Yugal-Gita, some are there. Gurudev has commented in the Bhajan Rahasya as well. And the Brahma-Gita, though Gurudev has not written directly on this, but often he would speak on this. So this evening, I have a very short time, I think, so I cannot tell so much, but just to give some idea of the nectar of each Gita, what is the speciality of each one. So, first of all, Venu-Gita. The speciality of this Venu-Gita is that it is in the mood of Purva-Rag. Purva-Rag is a type of separation, but it's the separation that the lover and beloved feel for each other when they have fallen in love, but they did not actually get the chance to meet together. So this is very sweet. One thing we have to consider is, when we speak about meeting and separation, is there is actually meeting by being together and separation by not being together. But then that is called, being together is called yog, and being physically separate is called viyog. But then there is the rasa of meeting and separation. So the rasa of meeting is called sambhog rasa, and the rasa of separation is called the vipralamba rasa. So these are two separate categories. You have to keep them separate. Because sometimes the rasa of separation is experienced in meeting. And sometimes the rasa of meeting is relished in viyog, in separation. And sometimes, even in meeting, there is experience of the vipalamba rasa and sambhog rasa at the same time, even. So there are many varieties of prem vilas. Love itself has its many varieties of play. So the speciality of Venu-Gita is that Braj Gopis, they have fallen in love with Krishna, but they have not yet had the chance to meet directly and associate with him very intimately. So at that time, they're in their homes. And being in their homes, Krishna has gone out into the forest, and from far away, he knows they're listening, and Krishna is playing on his flute. So, Tad Brajastriya Asrutya Venu-Gita Smarodayam. Look, it's a spurti. The Harikatha manifest. So, Tad Brajastriya Asrutya Venu-Gita Smarodayam. Kaschit Paroksham Krishnasya Swasapi Sakidyo Vyavanayan. It means that as the Braj Gopis, they heard the sound of Krishna's flute, then Smarodayam, Prem, was inflamed within their hearts. And at that time, Kaschit Paroksham Krishnasya Swasakibhyon Bhavanayan, in different groups. Some gopis are gathered together in this home, some gopis are gathered together in this home, some in this. In their different groups of Sakis around Braja, they began to speak to each other, but not directly. Kaschit paroksha, indirectly, because they have shyness. The speciality of this Venu-Gita, one, it is the vipralamba, it is separation. And it is viyog, they are physically separated. Number two, it is purvarag, it is a separation before meeting. And in this, another speciality, they're only speaking to their own sakis, other gopis and other groups are not there. And another speciality is that they are not openly saying what they mean. They have some shyness, it's avahitabhav. So they say one thing, and they're thinking one thing, but hiding that and saying something else. They may say, Vrindavanam Saki Bhuvo Vitanoti Kirtim, Devaki Sutapadam Buddha Labda Lakshmi, Govinda Vena Manamattamayoranitam, Prakshadri Sanvavaratanya Samasta Sattvam. Oh Saki, this Vrindavan is glorious. Why? Because it's decorated with the footprints of Sri Krishna. This is what they're saying. But what is the inner feeling? The inner feeling is, oh, my body is smeared with kumkum. And Vrindavan is glorious, but I am not glorious, I am unfortunate, because I don't have the marks, the footprints of Krishna on my heart. That is their desire. But hiding this is, oh, Vrindavan is glorious, having the footprints of Krishna there. Govinda Venamanamattamayoranitam. When Krishna plays his flute, then the peacocks begin to dance. They're saying this, but the inner mood is, oh, when will that day come? When Krishna will play his flute and I'll dance with him and please him by my dancing. So everything is hidden. Raso gupta eva rasatvam apadyate. When rasa is hidden, then it becomes more relishable. So one thing to note here is Shukadeva Goswami Pad, he said, Tadvarnaitam arabda smarancha Krishna chestitam Nasakam smaravegena vikshiptam manaso nripa. When the Braj Gopis began to speak to each other about Krishna, then their voices became choked. And vikshipta mana, their mind became vikshipta, distracted. That means they forgot where they were. They were no longer in their homes anymore. Their heart, Krishna is chittacho, their heart had been stolen by Krishna. Danyasma mudda gatiyopi arinya eta. Gopis say, oh, look at this deer. When Krishna plays his flute, the deer, which is usually very shy, gives up shyness and comes out of the forest and approaches very close to Sri Krishna. The inner meaning is that, oh, I am not so fortunate Because I'm hearing the sound of Krishna's flute, but I cannot give up my shame and shyness and fear of my mother-in-law and my in-laws, family members, sister-in-law. But these dear, people say, Danyasma Mudda, they are foolish, but they're not foolish. I think we are foolish. Because they go to Krishna. And even the husbands of this female deer follow them very happily. But if I went to Krishna, my husband would run after me with a stick and beat me. So I am not fortunate. Those deer are fortunate. But Braj Gopi is saying, Harinya Eta, these deer. This is used in Sanskrit, they're pointing. But are there any deer in their house? There's no deer in their house. Because Krishna, by the sound of his flute, has stolen their hearts. And they're seeing, though Krishna is very far away, by Bhava Netra, by the eyes of Bhav, they're beholding the beauty and the pastimes of Sri Krishna. Their hearts have been stolen and brought there. Chita Hari Bangsidari. We sing it every morning. That Bangsidari, Krishna steals their heart and brings them. There's some rahasya in the sound of this flute. You see? This sound of this flute is not an ordinary thing. Don't think maybe I saw here there was someone came the other day and he was playing a flute. So it's not like that. There's some secret in this. What is that? Maduram Maduram Madurasya Vibhur Maduram Maduram Padanam Maduram Madhugandhi Mridusmitam Etadaho Maduram 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 Maduram. Braj Gopis say that Maduram Maduram Madurasya Vibhur, the body of Krishna is the Madhur. Very, very sweet. Madhu, Madhu. No word for it. Sweetness is not enough. Madhu, Madhu. Madhu, the word Madhu, sweetness, means Manohari. Enchanting, stealing the heart. And sweetness means Charuta. Charuta means that if Krishna is standing, he's so beautiful. And if he's moving, he's more beautiful. And then, if he's speaking, he's more beautiful. Every turn, every movement, every posture, and everything he does looks more and more beautiful. Charuta, this is the Madhurya, sweetness of Krishna. So, Krishna's body is like the kingdom of sweetness. But, Madhuram Madhuram, Badanam Madhuram. But his face is not only Madhuram Madhuram, it's Madhuram Madhuram Madhuram. 3 times. So his face is like the throne. The throne ruling over the kingdom of sweetness of his body. But there should be an emperor sitting on that throne. What is that? Madhu Gandhi's Mridusmitam Etadaho. That is Krishna's smile, which is a fragrant from his drinking honey wine. So the fragrance of honey wine is coming from his smile. And that is not Madhuram Madhuram, or Madhuram Madhuram Madhuram, that is Madhuram 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 Madhuram. So, his body is the kingdom of sweetness, his face is the throne of the kingdom of sweetness, and the smile of Krishna is the emperor ruling over the empire of sweetness. And when Radharani hears the sound of Sri Krishna's flute, then Rani says, Smita Kiran Sukha Pure Paisi Adara Madhure Say Madhur Matai Tribhubhane Bangsi Chidra Akashe Taraguna Shabda Paise Dvani Rupa Payo Pariname. Smita Kiran Sukha Pure. When Krishna smiles, his smile shines it's like karpur. And the nectar of his lips is like madhu, honey. And this karpur and this honey is mixed together. And when Krishna takes that madhurya of Krishna, of his lips and his smile, mixed together, it makes the whole universe mad. Charms even the trees and creepers. And when Krishna, Bangsi Chija Akashe Tara Guna Shabde Paishe, when Krishna puts his flute to his lips, then all the collective sweetness of the entire kingdom, of his body, of his face, and of his lips, enters into the space of the holes of that flute. And all that sweetness, Dvani Rupa Pai Parinam, transforms into the flute sung. And now the sound of Krishna's flute is carried on the air of Braja, and all the nectar of Sri Krishna's sweetness and the nectar of Sri Krishna's lips is going now into the ears of Braj Gopis, and they lose their awareness of everything, and they experience meeting with Krishna in separation. This is Venu-Gita. So there are many mysteries in this. Perhaps you know that Radhika said, Nadyasthadat dupadarya mukunda gita avarta lakshata mano bhavabhagna vega alinganasta gita omi bhujamarare krinanti pada yugalam kamalopahara. When Sri Krishna plays upon his flute, then you can see how Jamuna river, their whirlpools appear in the river, and the waves rise up and they pluck the lotus flowers, and when Krishna comes on the bank of the river, then the waves carry the lotus flowers and offer them at the feet of Sri Krishna. So, generally, devotees, they think that, yes, Krishna plays his flute so sweetly that the river, who is female, because she's Jamuna Devi, she becomes completely agitated and disturbed with calm, with passionate love for Sri Krishna. So she's manifesting these symptoms. But those who are the Radha Paksha, more inclined to Radhika, they think in this way. Radhika's Mahabhav, Ruddhabhav, Adi Ruddhabhav, more than Mohan. She has Mohanakya Mahabhav. This Mohan Bhav has a symptom called Brahmanda Shobha Karita. That means that her separation from Sri Krishna is so intense that her waves of separation spread out from her and disturb the whole universe. So Srila Jiva Goswami Pad said, don't think that Krishna plays the flute and his flute is so beautiful that it disturbed the Jamuna, but rather you should think that when Krishna played his flute, Radharani's separation became so intense that it spread out in waves and disturbed the whole universe, and so the waves in Jamuna are disturbed like this. So glories of Radhika are there. Gopaka anubhavam nayato udhara venu swanaya Kalapadai-stanu britsu sakya aspandanam gatim matam pulakastarunam niryoga pashakrita lashnaya opi vichitram. One Gopi is saying, when Krishna and his friends, they're driving the cows from one meadow to another, from one forest to another, at that time, Sri Krishna takes his flute to his lips and begins to play so sweetly that even the trees, which are non-moving living entities, they begin to move, they begin to tremble. So this is the power of Sri Krishna's flute. The trees burst into blossom. All the flowers appear on the trees. So this is, and devotees, they know that Krishna's flute has such an effect on nature that the trees tremble and the flowers blossom. But those who are rasik and more inclined towards Braja Gopis, they think in this way. Perhaps you know, it is said that if a very beautiful, chaste young woman will touch the ashok tree with her foot, then it bursts into blossom. It's said that if a very beautiful, chaste woman will embrace a mango tree, it will burst into blossom. And it is said that if the saliva, a beautiful, chaste woman, will spit on a bakul tree, it will burst into blossom like this. So the general persons, they think, oh, Krishna played his flute and all the trees are blossoming in the forest. But those who know the glories of gopis, they think, when Krishna plays his flute, then the gopis become so bewildered they cannot even stand up. And so they embrace the trees to stop themselves from falling down. So at that time, when a gopi embraces the ashok tree and touches with her foot, then the tree is blossoming. When a gopi embraces a mango tree, then the mango blossoms are blossoming. And when a gopi is embracing a tree and thinking of Krishna, and one of the anubhavs is the salivating, and she's salivating, and the saliva is running down her face and touches the tree, then the bhakti tree is blossoming. So in this way, these verses of Venu-Gita, in this actually is the glories of Radhika's Prem and the glories of Gopi's Prem also. So this is some of the glory of the speciality of Venu-Gita. The next Gita of Srimad Bhagavatam, that is the Pranaya-Gita. In Pranaya-Gita, see Krishna, finally, he plucked up the courage. Bhagavana Pitara Trishadut Fullamalika Viksharantamanasta Kre Yogamayam Upasrita. He plucked up the courage to go into the forest in the middle of the night and came to Bangsi Bhat, and he played on his flute to call all of the gopis to come to meet with him in Rasalila, abandoning everything. They ran to meet him, and when they arrived there, then they bowed down, they touched his feet, and then they stood looking down. Because Krishna was not speaking, gopis were very stubborn that Krishna should speak first. Because he's the one who called us and made us destroy our lives completely by abandoning all dharma and our families and everything. So he should speak first. And Krishna was thinking, Gopi should speak first. And Gopi saying, he should speak first. No, she should speak first. And so there was silence for some time. Then afterwards, see, Krishna thought, okay, now Krishna had a plan. His plan was this. I've had enough of this avahita bhav. You see, because the gopis, they're always hiding their mood. You see? I want to hear them openly express how they feel. But to do that, I'm going to have to completely bewilder them and make them lose their minds. Just like, in Madhupan Leela, Krishna, Radha and Krishna, they drink honey wine. Why does Krishna like to get, Radhika, drink more? Krishna likes to get Radhika drunk because Radhika always hides her moods. She does not directly express what she wants to mean. She speaks in an avahita way. And that's also beautiful. Just like a beautiful woman who's wearing a very fine cloth, which is somewhat transparent and perhaps also wet. Then her beauty peeps out through the cloth. And she looks more beautiful with the covering, slight covering. But that doesn't mean that sometimes her beloved doesn't want to, that there should be no covering at all. So Krishna is the same. He relishes the rest of the sweetness of Gopi's words, which are avahita, which are hidden. But that doesn't mean that sometimes he doesn't want to take the covering and hear Gopi speaking in a very shameless and direct way, expressing their love to him. So Krishna thought, I am going to completely destroy their intelligence by speaking in such a way that they won't even believe what I'm saying. He decided. So then he told them, Swagatam Bo Mahabhaga. Welcome to the forest. Why did you come here? Is there some problem in your house? Rajainik Esha Gaura Rupa Gaura Sattvis Nisevata. This is a very dark and dangerous night, and ferocious animals are in the forest. And I am a Pakka Brahmachari. So now you've seen the beauty of the forest, and you should just now. You should pratiyata varjam nehastayam sribi sumat. Don't stay here, go back to your homes. Serve your husbands, because that's the path of dharma. Only a person who serves, a woman who serves a husband and follows the path of dharma can go to heaven in the next life. Gopis can't believe what they're hearing. They've been in, we discussed first, because these Gits, see how they're related to each other. The intensity of the Prem in the Venu-Gita was there. And it came to the breaking point when they could not tolerate not meeting with each other anymore. And finally Krishna calls and they come. And then Krishna speaks in this way. Gopis, they cannot believe. What am I hearing? Now Krishna's words are very clever. Why? Because he's speaking in such a way, his words, they have upekshamai artha. That means neglectful words. He's neglecting them. Why are you here? Go home. But in those words is hidden another meaning that is called pratanamai artha. That means that he's begging them for their love. Both meanings are there. But there is a symptom of the love and affection, and that is anista sankini bandhu hridayani bhavantihi. That when love is very strong, a person always feels some fear, some worry that something bad might happen. that this moment, which is so beautiful and wonderful, this relationship, it's too good to be true, and it can end at any moment. So this is called anishta sankini, the anxiety of something undesirable may happen. Bandhu hridayani bhavanti is always there between persons who have deep love for each other. So though Krishna spoke with the two meanings, but because of the intensity of love, the gopis only took the meaning which was neglecting them and telling them to go home. So Krishna told them to go home in 10 verses. Then Braja gopis, they replied to Krishna in 11 verses. And those 11 verses, that's called Pranaya-Gita. Maivam vibhoti bhuvan gaditam risansam sanchaja sarva vishayam tava padolam bhaktya bhajasya durvagra macha jasman devo yatari purusho bhajate mumukshun yat pati pati sridam anubriti ranga strinam sudama iti dama vidata yuktam. Gopi said to Krishna, Mayavam vibhorati. It is not right. It's not right. It's quite unjust that you should speak such heartbreaking words to us. Because we have left everything. We have left all vishaya, all sense gratification in this life just to serve your lotus feet for your happiness. So we have heard Tasman and Datmajoyante Narayana Sumo Gunai, that you have qualities like Lord Narayan. So if a person wants mukti, liberation, and they serve Lord Narayan, then he says, yes, take mukti. Muktim dadati kaichit smana bhakti yogam. Lord easily gives mukti, but very rarely gives bhakti. So he gives mukti to them, liberation, but what benefit does he get from that? So Lord Narayan even reciprocates with those who are praying to him, even if he gets no benefit from it, by giving them mukti. So don't be duravagra. Means like a rain cloud that forms in the sky, but then everyone is very hot and thirsty, but the rain, they're just looking, but no rain comes. So Krishna, don't be like that. You are Shama Sundar like a rain cloud. You called us here to relish the prema rasa, and now this cloud is withholding, not giving us even one drop. So gopis argued with Krishna like this. So you should reciprocate with us. Sinchanga nastva dadaramrita pura kena hasava loka kalagita charit chayagnim. No chedvayam varhajagdopayukta deha janena yama paravim sakete. Radharani said, Oh Krishna, we were young girls, very sweet and very innocent. We had the amorous desire at all. It was asleep in our heart. But by your smile, by your glance, and by your flute singing, you awoken that calm, that desire. And it grew, and it became a great conflagration. It became a blazing fire. So Krishna, you told us that we should follow Dharma. So we ask you a question about Dharma, if you want to preach to us about Dharma. If you visit someone's house, and by accident you set a fire in their house, then what is your responsibility? The responsibility is to put the fire out. That's the Dharma. So you have made this great fire in our hearts, and now it's your responsibility to put that fire out. So Gopi said, how can this fire be extinguished? Sinchanga nastva dadaramrita pura kena. It can only be extinguished by a flood of nectar. Krishna said, a flood of nectar? Nectar is very rare. 5 incarnations of God appeared in this world, and all the demons and all the demigods were churning. And poison came and many other things. And finally there was one small pot of nectar. So nectar is very rare. Where will I get a flood of nectar from? Gopi said, Twadadaramrita purakena. There's a flood of nectar in your lips. So you give us this flood of nectar and put out our fire. If you don't put out the fire of our calm, our desire, then we'll be like Sati Devi. The wife of Lord Shiva. She sat in meditation and she did spontaneous combustion. Burst into flames. So if you'll not accept us, then we'll sit and the fire of separation will burst out of our hearts and will become incinerated. And because yam yam vapismaram bhavam chadyatyanti kalevram, whatever you remember at the last moment of your life, you go there. So because we're thinking of you, then we'll give up our life and we'll go to wherever you are. We can become dust of Vrindavan so that when you walk, we can touch your lotus feet. But somehow or other, we will come to you one way or another, whether you accept us or not. So, hey Sakha, oh our friend, you are our friend Krishna, don't give us a pain. You accept us now. Now Krishna got what he wanted. He was thinking, enough with this avahita bhav. Gopis always hiding their feelings. Now I smashed their intelligence by speaking in a completely outrageous way. And the words I wanted to hear, they're speaking. Oh, please put out my fire with the nectar of your lips, Krishna. Sorry. Very happy. Now this Pranaya-Gita, the question comes, why is it called Pranaya-Gita? Why is it all called Pranay? Pranay means the love in which the hero and heroine think, my heart and your heart are one, my body and your body are one, my mind and your mind are one, and there's great confidence. There's great confidence between each other. You know that the wives of the Yajnik Brahmanas, they also left their husbands and they brought so many preparations on their head to give to Krishna. And Krishna told them, return to your homes. But they didn't have pranay. They didn't have the confidence to say, no, that's not what you want. So, all right, then we'll go. And they went. But Braj Gopis, their mood was this. Oh, we came to meet with Krishna, and now Krishna's told us to go. But our Shama Sundar, actually, he doesn't want us to go. He's just too shy to tell us what he wants. And we have confidence, so we're not going to go, and we don't agree with whatever he says. We know that's not his real meaning, and that's not what he wants. We know what he wants, so to help him give up his shyness, we're going to tell him what he wants. And we'll reveal that to him. So this is why it's called Pranay. Pranaya-Gita. So, my time's up, so I'll just wrap up here. So, you see the difference between. Now look at the Vaishishta, the speciality. In Venu-Gita, Gopis and Krishna, they're in Viyog. They are actually separated. And they're feeling Vipralamba Rasa. Now in Pranaya-Gita, they're in Yog. They're actually together. But it's also Vipralamba Rasa because it's called Bhavi Viraha. Bhavi Viraha means the anxiety of anticipation of impending separation. Oh, he told us that we have to go. Will he not accept us? No, we have to make him accept us. We know what he wants, and we'll reveal to him what is in his own heart. So here, there is yog, there is meeting, but there's a type of separation, not purvarag, it is bhavi viraha. So after Gopis, they spoke this Pranaya-Gita, then Krishna was very satisfied and he began to laugh and revealed to them, I was just joking. And then Gopis were very relieved, and then the Rasa Leela began. Then comes the Gopi-Gita. Now Gopi-Gita will take the rasa to another level, and Yuga-Gita will take the rasa to another level, and Brahma-Gita will take the rasa to another level, each in its own very, very different, very, very distinct speciality. But unfortunately today, I have run out of time for this, so I am inviting everyone, please come to Alachua to hear about the speciality of the 5 Gitas. We'll continue the Harikatha there. Bale Vrindavan Bihari Lal ki Jai, Jai Jai Sri Radhe.
Sadhu, sadhu.